Good evening, folks. Thanks very much for coming in. You're all very welcome. We hope you're all well and safe tonight, this afternoon, wherever you are. We've got the lady herself back in with us yet again, the beautiful Patti Negri. Thanks very much for coming in, Patti. It's always a pleasure to have you on, though. Always a pleasure. So tonight, Patti, it's just a general pre-festive chit-chat, you know, what you've been up to, how your Thanksgiving was, just stuff like that, you know. So how was Thanksgiving for you?
Everything was great. Thank you for having me on again. This is fun. I'm traveling over the ocean without leaving my little office. Everything is good. Our Thanksgiving was quiet because we're still pretty much on lockdown like everybody else. So no big family things or gatherings, and that's okay. My husband and I are making the best of it. Same thing will be Christmas. That'll be interesting because I usually have like 60 people over for Christmas. I started this little crazy thing like 20 years ago, and this will be the first year really not doing it. So it'll be me and my husband and my cat. But it's all good. I've got all sorts of good things coming on. So yeah, life, can't complain. Staying healthy, staying strong. Got the same thing everybody else is dealing with, and we'll get through it. I like your backdrop.
Oh, thank you very much.
Usually, I am wearing this. Usually, I would wear this. Last weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, we always had the Hollywood Christmas Parade, which is a Hollywood and stars, and I'm part of the Hollywood Arts Council, and we have our own balloon, those big monster parade balloons, and been a balloon wrangler for Christmas, and they'd have like rock stars and everybody. No parade this year. I know they did the Macy's parade, but it is an interesting year. But it's making us be creative. I think it's making us be creative. Okay, if we can't do this, so we can't do that, and we can't do the other thing, what can we do? Mm-hmm. So I see creativity coming out of people, both in figuring out how to do things, on Zoom and different things like that online, even events and stuff. I'm teaching like this. So it just makes you think a little harder. Be creative.
See, I totally get what you're saying, Patty. We've been the same, you know, since it all started. Also, we can't go out in investigations, what have you. So that's why we've been doing a lot of interviews. And it sets your mind thinking, you know, what can we do that's different? How can we make, you know, we can't do investigations, so how can we still kind of stay interesting, you know? And it does. I think my mind goes 24 hours a day. You know, even go to bed, you're still, and you'll wake up, maybe you do the same, you wake up during the night and you've got an idea in your head, you know, like, I could do that, you know, and it's crazy. It's good, I think, but it's still crazy. You wake up like 2, 3 a.m. You're like, let's do this. I've got an idea, and so you're away writing it down that, you know, that time in the morning. So do you think after lockdown, you know, whenever the situation resolves itself, you'll still be doing all the creative bit as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And some of it's picking up, and I have been doing some. Hollywood is coming back to work a little bit. I just shot a show that I do, a Comedy Central show with Trevor Moore called The Trevor Moore Show. It's a talk show. He's a beautiful American comedian. And on his little talk show, he's a comedian, but he solves all the problems of the world 1 hour at a time. The first episode he did a 24-hour marathon. He was on the talk show for 24 hours straight. So every hour we solve world peace 1 hour, solve war the next hour, global warming the next hour. Funny, but actually creating conversations. I think I was on for 6 or 7 hours of that. So done a couple. Now they just does it 1 hour at a time, like any TV show. We were all scheduled to shoot in March when the lockdown, so everything got canceled, and we actually just shot again. So they just have these protocols. I literally had to. They paid me to stay home though. Had to stay home for 5 days. I had to have a COVID test on Monday. Stay home Tuesday, had to have a COVID test on Wednesday. I had to go to take 8 classes online on how to wash your hands, how to wear a mask, how to push the elevator button, how to do this, how to do that. I had to stay home on Thursday. So I had 2 COVID tests, 5 days home. And on Friday, I got to go to CBS Viacom. They proved that we were okay. But even that, all this, like, you come here and you go out. Only 3 people were allowed on the talk show stage at one time. Crew is limited. Like, one person had to leave for me to come on. And when you break for lunch, it's like putting together puzzle pieces. But they're making it work. So that's how that one did. I actually just shot my first ghost adventure since all this came down, and it's going to be a big one. It's a 2-hour special at the Cecil Hotel, and it's going to actually launch a new Discovery streaming platform. But we did the whole show completely masked, completely. I mean, Zach's used to it; he wears a little mask. But every crew member, all of us on stage, there was never one moment without being fully masked. So it's like, it didn't bother me. You get used to it. But it's weird. It's just, I'm doing television like this.
As we're using the mask over here, it's, the kind of up to the nose, and it's still, I mean, we've been doing this for, I don't know, you always count the weeks, and it's still weird for us going into a shop, with the mask on. And my biggest problem is, because I wear glasses, as soon as I breathe out,
they flog up. I know. I teach a morning workout class outdoors, so we're allowed up at Lake Hollywood, which is a reservoir right under the Hollywood sign. Beautiful deers, pine trees. You wouldn't know you're in the middle of Hollywood, but we're allowed to do it. But you do have to stay masked. So it's like doing a full workout with a mask. And then I have my glasses or my sunglasses, and the same thing. It's like, I'm foggy. But that's okay. You can't breathe, you can't see. It's all okay.
Because that's the way everybody wants to walk about. Can't see and can't breathe, but hopefully it'll be over.
We'll get through it. Yeah, we will. We got to get through it so we can go to Ireland. We got to get through it. I've got so many events were canceled last year, of the live events and Paracons. We did Virginia City, that got moved, and we actually were able to do it and keep social distancing. But a bunch of other ones I was set up just canceled or postponed until next year. But hopefully next year. The vaccine should be coming out. I'm all for the vaccines. I don't think it's aliens trying to take over our minds. It's a vaccine to keep you from getting COVID.
I think they've got a step level over here. I've not actually read up on the vaccine, to be honest, Patti. I think they've got a step level age-wise and what have you. I couldn't really tell you. But it's affected a lot of people. Everybody's lives. It's impacted everybody, and hopefully it will be over soon. And as you say, a lot of events have been getting cancelled, and I think that adds more to the sort of misery of it, because you get people that are looking forward to these events, like coming to see you, conventions, etc., and all of a sudden it's nothing. They can't do anything. So you're saying you're 60 people over at Christmas time. How do you manage that? 60? That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. It's just how you do it. My husband and I produce a drum show in October. We've been doing it for 20 years, and we couldn't do it this year. You can't social distance 1,000 drummers in a room. You just can't. So we're not, and we just again went into lockdown last week. But it's making the best. I think when we get out of it, it's going to be amazing. Again, some things will never be the same, but I believe a lot of things will be better. But I think it's going to be like the Roaring 20s. Just like, remember, the last century, 100 years ago, they had a pandemic, that 1917 pandemic. And then the Roaring 20s, when everything came out, it was just, wild times for a decade. I think when we come out of it, it's going to be lots of events and lots of things to do, and people spending money, buying things, doing things. That's my thought.
The world will be reborn.
Basically, I think the world will be reborn. I mean, after the first lockdown over here, we went to Edinburgh, and I think it was the night after lockdown ended, and Edinburgh was absolutely packed with people out, out drinking, having a good time and what have you. Everybody just seemed to be going nuts, and I think that's what's going to happen. Whenever the time comes. But But I think it's just my theory. I think it's going to make a lot of people realise just how lucky they are and how much they've got in common with other people. You know, that they wouldn't relate to before all this happened. I think it'll maybe bring people a lot closer together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it has been. Again, people have done a lot of rethinking of things and what's important and what. So again, I think a lot of good's going to come out of it.
But you're also the witchcraft side. What happens at Christmas with the witchcraft side? You know, I've always made no secret. I'm not a big expert on, you know, witchcraft and what have you. What kind of events take place at Christmas with that side of things?
Well, I celebrate everything. I do celebrate Christmas. But in pagan, actually, witchcraft, it's Yule, which is closer. It's right around the same time. It's the 21st. It's actually like Christmas trees, Yule logs, decorations. They really don't have anything to do with Christmas. They're the old pagan. I mean, if it was about Jesus and Christmas, it would be palm trees in the desert. But, you know, when they started combining all these belief systems, they made it, when they brought in Christianity to the old pagan ways, they had to make it doable. So they picked up stuff. So they're extraordinarily similar, just like Easter or Ostara. You know, Easter eggs and little bunnies have nothing to do with the rising of Christ. It's the pagan spring festival. So I just figured if the world is going to combine them all, just combine them all. I celebrate everything. It is a time of celebration of life. It's the coming of the light, whether you're doing it from a Christian perspective or a Buddhist perspective or a pagan perspective or anything else in the middle or even atheist. It's that time of celebration. You know, the light coming back. It's at the solstice. The days get longer again.
And again, there's so many things. Yeah. No doubt it's the same where you are with pantomimes and parades and the switching on of the lights. There's so much been cancelled this year. Guys, you know, and especially for the kids, even the wee, you know.
Yeah, it's weird because again, this would be the time of shopping and the malls, and they're either closed or almost closed. Little kids, we at all of our malls and stores, you know, little kids line up to sit on Santa Claus's lap. You know, our big Saint Nick. You can't sit on Santa Claus's lap. You can't even, you know, and Santa Claus on Zoom is probably not quite the same. I've seen a few things they're trying to get creative, like put plastic around Santa, you know, Santa in a bubble sort of thing. But again, it's not, you just do the best you can.
That's all you can do. And then 2021, we know you've got a lot planned. You've got Ireland planned, which we're looking forward to. Coming over for a couple of days to meet up with you. Hopefully that's still going to go ahead. Your Game of Thrones.
The Game of Thrones, Ireland. Yeah, I'm sorry. I love your accent. I just have to go. It's like, what is he saying? Which I can. Sorry, my American ears.
We need subtitles.
Am I talking too fast?
Maybe.
No, what I was saying was next May you've got Ireland planned, your tour.
Yes. I'm so excited, and you guys are going to come see. Yes, it's a 9-day tour. It's a Game of Thrones haunted tour of Ireland, and we're going to a couple amazing castles that were in Game of Thrones, which is great. And we're going to all sorts. And May Hernan, who's, you know, she's Irish, she's from Ireland. It's not like she's just some tour guide out of Pittsburgh. And she knows every place to go. So we're going to go, and we're going to go talk to the ghosts in all these places. And I'll bring all my gear, whether it do seances, readings, and investigations throughout Ireland. I've never been to Ireland. I can't wait.
I've never been. I've been to the Northern Ireland, the east coast of Ireland. I've never been to the west coast. We were talking to May about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or something.
3 weeks ago.
We had a video call with May, and she's a lovely lady. She's absolutely, you know, we were talking to her for about half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that, and we're looking forward to meeting her as well. Obviously, the big thing is we're looking forward to coming over and seeing you, you know, and doing the boat trip, the castle, the well, and I think there's an abbey as well you get lined up.
Yeah. Well,
You've got an abbey lined up as well, I think.
I think so. It always, yeah, all these great places. I mean, I read it and I go, oh, I can't wait. And then it leaves my head. But yeah, and some wonder of the world place. And yeah, you said a boat and I don't know. It's going to be great. You know, because I want to go in as a medium, I don't want to be colored just like I do on, I don't want to know too much of the history. I want to know some of the history, but if I want to go talk to the ghosts of it, I'm not going to overly look up stuff. I don't want to be influenced, but I'm going to try to get the overall of everything.
So we're really looking forward. I know it's not until May, but you know, it's a big event for us, even though we're only over for like I think 2 days. We're coming over for, and it's, you know, we're buzzing, as we say in Scotland. We're buzzing about it. So what else have you got lined up between January and May time?
Okay, well, not a lot, but I'm flying for the first time. I'm flying to Colorado. You know, George Norrie, he does Coast to Coast Radio, which is big here in the States. It's a big syndicated, very paranormal show. He's like the godfather of paranormal. I do his radio show, but they're flying me to Colorado. This is my second time he has a TV show for Gaia.com. It's called Beyond Belief. So I just did my pre-interview yesterday. So January, in the second week in January, first or second week in January, I'm flying to Colorado. Probably be cold. Colorado in winter. I'm an LA girl, so I'm doing that. Again, I don't know what I'm filming yet because that's never that far in advance. And then next year itself, I've got the Ireland, I've got Texas Paracon, I've got the Festival of the Unexplained in the UK. We're going to do Virginia City Paracon again in Nevada, which is great because Doug, who's been planning it forever, he passed away this year. Doug Carnahan, a great paranormal investigator. And sadly, he passed just before we were getting ready to do something at the slaughterhouse in Arizona. And he went to the heavens. So I think we're going to do Virginia City in his honor. So that'll be really nice. And I think we're doing Vulture City. So all these little, hopefully, you know, everything, Paracon's large and small.
I'm going to read some. I know you can't see the comments, Pat, so I'll just read some of them out for you, Susie. There's Christopher Hall says, Patti, you're everywhere. I can't keep up with all your Facebook appearances. He's also coming to Ireland. He says, Ireland, definitely something to look forward to. I'm booked to come as well. I'm booked to come too. So
yay, I know, Christopher Hall. That is great. Hi, Chris. Yes, I know. I can't keep up with me either. I had a full day yesterday, and then I taught a class at 6 o'clock. I had like 47 people in the class on 6 o'clock. 7:30, I did my live paranormal. As soon as I got off at 8:30 p.m., I did an online investigation with somebody back east with Rob Cesarek. So that was the first time I've ever talked about learning to do Zoom. Somebody carrying their cell phone through this big haunted place, and I'm trying to get my impressions of it without getting seasick from the phone going all through everything. So we did that last night. So I can't keep up with me either, Chris. Thank you.
How does your husband cope with that? You know, obviously you're 24/7. You know,
I am 24/7 girl. Yeah. He's good. I mean, I wish he could. He's a drummer by trade, so sadly, he hasn't worked in 9 months either. You can't go play jazz at a wedding or an event or a corporate event or a club. Nothing. Mm-hmm. But he actually has his first drummer gig tomorrow. It's a tiny little group. It's outdoors. I guess it's COVID safe wherever he's going. So he's got his first, outside of his, drumming gig. So he's good. We've always been really independent. I try to always spend at least a few minutes together, even if it's like 15 minutes having coffee in the morning or, before I go to bed at night, go watch TV with him. But this is he knew what he was getting into. And it's worse when we're not COVID, because even if I'm not on working, I still don't like to stay home. It's like, I'm going dancing on Tuesday. I do this on Wednesday. I do. Gotta keep moving.
You're very, very active. Paul Allen, I hope I pronounced your second name correctly, Paul. Apologies if I haven't. Paul Allen says, hi, Patti, any more plans to work with the GA crew in the future?
Do I have any plans to work with the GA crew? I never know in advance. The one we just shot, you guys, it's gonna be a 2-hour special on a new launch about the Cecil Hotel. Wildest. I can't talk about it yet, but holy moly, that place, maybe the most haunted hotel. If anybody looks up the Cecil Hotel, that's where a few years back this one girl was like seen doing all this crazy stuff in an elevator, and they found her body 3 weeks later in the water tower, that people had been drinking her body water for weeks. So many deaths at that hotel, so many suicides, murders, overdoses. It's downtown LA. So it was great working with the guys. I got to spend a couple nights there, and it was like, because everybody's been Zach has been trying to investigate that hotel for 10 years. They would not let anybody ever legitimately do it. It's ancient. It's from the 1920s. It's like, well, not ancient for where you live, but ancient for where I live. From the 20s, it's a 700-room hotel, 15 floors, which is a lot from the 1920s. And again, so much tragedy. But the hotel, even when it was kind of a flop house, wouldn't let people do paranormal investigations. If they saw somebody from a camera, they'd take it away. They would never let in a crew like ours. So had the whole hotel to themselves. You know, Zach said it took them 10 years to get in, and probably a lot of money. But it's worth it. It's worth it.
They do a lot of different locations. I mean, they've been around. I've lost count of many years they've been out for now, and they are quite really, really big. How did you initially get involved with them?
That was a fluke, sort of. I mean, because I'm in Hollywood, and because I do what I do, and I am what I am, and I'm a producer in Hollywood, I was already doing, that would be called in for just different various shows. Oh, do a seance here, do a this there, do an investigation there. If they needed a witch or a house clearing or a seance or a medium. Mm-hmm. So they were like 5-6 years ago, I guess, Ghost Adventures was doing, I got a call. They were doing the Haunted Hollywood episode. And they had heard that I had, while doing a ghost tour there on my own, actually for the Hollywood Arts Council, I had ran into the spirit and talked to the spirit of Charlie Chaplin. So I got all this information, and so they called me in. That first time out, I would have just been one of like that first interview that they do every episode, just somebody local who experienced it, and that's it. But apparently I had known the exact chair that Charlie Chaplin was in, which I didn't know that, and all this stuff. So we just kind of hit it off. So they just started calling me. Then they called me in for the Black Dahlia one to do a seance and investigation there. And then it just kind of took off. Reseda, Chatsworth, Scottsdale, 3 or 4 at the museum. So it's great. I'm very honored. I'm very lucky, because you never know what you're getting into. Honestly, you do not know. I don't even get to know very much in advance. Even on this last one, Zach was going, I'm going to call you for something. I'm going to call you for something. Okay. And when he did, it was like, can you get here in 2 hours? Because he doesn't want you to know. He'll give you an address. They'll drive you there. They'll fly you there. They'll give you an address to drive to, but you don't get the history. He don't like, oh, there was a murder in the left room. Do that. He wants it raw. He wants it real. So I'm usually more worried, not about the ghost. I'm worried about, what if I'm not psychic today? What if I get nothing? But they go places that are so haunted, that's not happened yet. I don't think it's going to happen. You know, the places get so vetted out that you walk in and you go, whoa.
It does seem quite full on, and is there that behind the camera? You know, obviously you are. It's easy to say behind the camera kind of thing. Always on the go like yourself.
Yeah. I am. Life is fun. Yeah, why sit home?
I remember you said that before, previous. It's not that you don't like sitting at home, but you can't. Excuse me. You can't sit at home too long because you get restless. And
Yeah, there's just so much to experience. I don't know. I've always been like this. I'm like an 8-year-old kid, I guess. Yeah, it's good.
do you think you'll ever slow down?
Hmm?
Do you think you'll ever slow down?
I don't, probably not. My mom didn't. My mom, she was a dancer, like tap dance, jazz. In my costume house for my production company, half of my sexiest little sequined costume and feathered hair pieces are my mom's. She danced into her late 80s, 4 shows a day, high kick lines, showgirl stuff. She was the singer, she was the dancer, and she danced what started out a hobby in her 40s after being a performer when she was young, turned into 4 shows a week for 45 years of doing entertaining people, being active. And she didn't start aging until she hit about 90 and actually kind of retired from dancing because her fellow dancers, the other 5 girls, were like dying off or getting Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So when she stopped dancing, she started aging and lasted another 3 years, but she never slowed down until she was 90. So I don't know if I'm going to slow down at 90 or not.
No, I think, excuse me, I think you'll probably keep going and going.
Probably. She really did. She, again, her show bag or this or that. So I guess it's in my blood.
I got another question for you from Jackie. Patti, seriously. Patti, are these places you can't go because the history is so tragic, too painful to see physically? Sorry, are there places you can't go because the history is so tragic and it is too painful to see physically?
As far as
psychically, sorry.
No, it's okay. As far as it too tragic for me to go, no, I haven't been a place I haven't been willing to go yet because you bring in the light. Again, if I'm a light worker, you bring in a candle to a room, you bring in positive energy, you light up the darkness. Yeah, you see those dark, scary shadows and monsters that are there. And I believe that I'm so experienced and so trained in psychic protection, in religion and philosophy and cosmologies and metaphysics and occult sciences that I feel like I know what to do with whatever happens. And even, in the darkest of dark, I'm not going to take it home with me because I firmly believe that this is our realm of existence. The other side has to play by our rules. And if you just do things correctly and, not with anger, not with fear, working with whatever belief system that we win, light wins. It's our realm. But people don't know that, so they give away their power. They give away their power and they get taken over by spirits and they bring home shit and So, but you don't have to. I mean, I've had from the Black Dahlia murder, I was at my house preparing something else, and I was just by myself with one person, so I didn't follow my plan. And working my Ouija board, I got thrown into my dining room chair and ripped all the cartilage off one of my floating ribs. So, and that same house, I was thrown into a wall once. So things happen. I think I don't know if I talked about before. I was doing a seance at Marilyn Manson, another Charlie Chaplin house, and cameraman burst into flames. So you got to take it seriously. But I don't know that there's any place I wouldn't go. I would go in well armed, well prepared, energetically, the right oils, the right herbs, the right sigils, the right symbols. But
the
bringing the light to the dark.
The cameraman burst into flames.
Yeah. It was that. That is the wildest. It's actually in my neighborhood in the Hollywood Hills. It's this old 1920s 4-story. It looks like a haunted house. It was built by Charlie Chaplin for one of his many girlfriends, Mary Astor, who's a silent movie star. And it was a party house. It's always been a party house. The crazy parties of the 20s. In the 1960s, the Rolling Stones manager bought it. So the Rolling Stones lived there, Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons, all the rock stars of the age lived there. Then they moved out, and then the guy who invented the real life sex doll moved in. Then he moved out. Then Marilyn Manson moved in and was recording there. The house attracts somewhat dark, creative, really creative, maybe chaotic people. It just brings them in. No family of four with banker families is going to ever live in that house. But this guy who was living there, even now, there's like young filmmakers live there. And he was doing a documentary on this house and how haunted it was. So I was brought in to do a seance. This is quite a few years ago now. And so the people around the table, we had 4 cameras. So it was caught. 4 cameras because he was shooting a documentary. So we were doing a sizzle. And young people around the table. And young people always have so much life force, things happen. So, and I explained to people, it's okay to be skeptic, try to be open, but you have to be respectful. You have to be respectful because that's when trouble happens. If you're disrespectful, because people don't like to be disrespected. Ghosts don't like to be disrespected. So anyway, this one kid just was kind of a smart aleck and he would be saying things and I'm just trying to go with it. Okay, this is my show. It's whatever. So, but I didn't keep him in line enough. So, and there was one cranky ghost there. It wasn't demonic or anything, just a couple cranky ghosts. First, cool things were happening. Like the French doors flew open, those big old-fashioned halls, and everybody's, screw, and everybody's, okay, close the French doors. And we're getting other information. We're working, and the French doors flow open again. It's like, wow. And the producer side of me is going, wow, this is cool. This is like special effects, but they're not fake. I'd never, ever, ever fake anything, but wow, okay, but you feel the tension building, the tension's building. And then all of a sudden we had something else. And then there was a record player right here, and the record player went on with this like white noise, and everybody's like, screaming, and then it happened again. We looked later, it wasn't even plugged in, but it was white noise. The spirit was getting mad. So again, it's building, it's building, it's building. Then all of a sudden we're working the Ouija board and we're finding out some really dark stuff that happened in the dirt basement. Always the dirt basement. Dirt basement where Maryland, he recorded a bunch of stuff. And all of a sudden the kid says something really stupid. All of a sudden the cameraman facing him from across the table burst into flames, just like up his back, like a V up his back, like angel wings of fire. Everybody starts screaming. 2 cameras, I think 2 cameras caught it. His camera didn't because he was from the reverse view. Like, why is everybody screaming and looking at me? Another camera hit the ceiling or hit the floor. So all of a sudden now, you know, cool medium Patty becomes medic Patty, which I am. I'm an EMT. I'm like, drop and roll. I'm getting him down. Everybody's screaming. I start calling in my wards, my guardians, how I set it up to shut it down. I'm shutting down the veil, calling in my guardians to shut it down, shut it down. And I'm like, we're done. I don't care what we're filming. We're done. You know, nobody bursts into flames on my watch. This is not okay. And, but the guy who caught on fire, and now a dear friend, good cameraman, he was more inspired. He's like, I'm okay. I'm okay. His shirt burnt off him like poof, like it was a synthetic, but it was cotton. It should not have burnt off like that. And then I see all this blistering on his back. I'm going, oh, that's, yes, we're done. He's like, no, I'm okay. I don't hurt. It's okay. I have a sweater or take off the shirt. I'm like, he's like, really, let's do it. Because he was a total skeptic. I've got villain. And it just turned him into a believer like that. He burst into flames. And the kid that was causing the energy that caused that, shut up, got really well behaved and like didn't say nothing. He became a choir boy. He was a good boy. So that was okay. So I talked to the spirit. I said, we're not even going to shut you down. We're not going to. So we were able to continue. A few other weird things. Glass flew out of a cupboard. They did try to push Lauren's car off a hill a little bit, but everything was okay. He was actually so inspired. He wrote a script about kind of like a version of me, this Hollywood psychic, does all the TV shows, doing another reality show or medium, and then opens, and then it opens a veil and it turns into a big horror film. He actually wrote it with Stephen Norrington. He's the guy who wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade series, a really great creative thing. So they wrote this together. They haven't done it yet. I hope they do it. It's called the Portal. But I sat down with him too. I go, oh, Laura, you can't put that in the script. He goes, but you said that. I go, I know I said that, but that causes something. We don't want to become one of those cursed horror films, do we? That so often happens. Spirits and cameras don't know the difference of fake TV or movie and reality. So I go, let's put, benign words in there that aren't going to mean anything or open up portals and stuff. So I hope they do it. But the coolest thing was 3 weeks later, after all this happened, when he decided to start writing, he goes, Patti, look at my back. And he showed me a picture. It totally the scar looks like he went and got a tattoo of a dragon. It's this perfect dragon head, the open mouth, the teeth, the winged thing into the shape of a serpent. That is the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance. I work dragon energy. I have dragons everywhere. There's a fancy plastic dragon. That's who I called in. And I'm like, oh my God, you have a tramp stamp of a dragon on your back. How cool is that? So he loved it too. So he's got this lovely little dragon scar on the small of his back, and he wrote a script, and I hope they do it.
I've not heard that word for. See, I'm originally from Glasgow, and I've not heard that word tramp stamp for I don't know how long. It's unusual to hear an American use, because I thought it was maybe just a Scottish thing or a UK thing. So you have that in the US as well, a tramp stamp.
We have that tramp stamp, small your back tattoo. Yep.
I've got a couple of questions popped up for you, Patti.
Okay.
Steve, it's actually about me. He's asking, Patti, have you connected with Scott because you were drawn to his honesty and realism? For me, it's such a refreshing change to see something like that on YouTube.
You have to say that again slower.
Slowly, Scott.
So, Patti,
I didn't get a word of that. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
No, it's me. I need to learn to speak slower. It says, Patti, have you connected with Scott because you were drawn to his honesty and realism? For me, it's such a refreshing change to see something like that on YouTube.
Yeah. See, now I heard every word of that. Yes, that's how I say. Again, genuine authenticity, positive like I am, all the things that I admire in somebody is the things I strive to be. So yes, good question, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, Patti. Thank you, Steve. We've got just when they're coming up. What is your take and feelings on the left-hand path, and if you're drawn to a cult and studying these types of things?
I have to decipher that. What is my take on?
Your take and feelings on the left-hand path.
Oh, the left-hand path. Okay. Well, it has different meanings. The left-hand path people think means a dark path. But it doesn't have to mean a dark path. Right hand is dextral. Angels are they're dextral. They can't cause change or shift. They could do two beautiful things. They could protection and enlightenment, two good things, protection and enlightenment. If you take down to dragons, they're crossroads animals. They can fly between heaven and earth. They live at those crossroads of change. If you want to cause change in your work, like in my magic, that's why I don't say white witch versus black witch. I'm a good witch. I only do light. I only do positive things. I don't do anything that manipulates somebody else. But if you don't do something that causes shift or change, which people call the left-hand path, then you're not going to do anything. You're not going to create real magic. You have to be able to cause shift and change and know that cause and effect, action and reaction, you have to have it to do it right, a sense of moral code, of integrity, virtue. So if you don't know right and wrong, don't do it. But if you know right and wrong and you have that, to me, the way I use left-hand path, for me, it just means you're causing a shift. It's not like some people say, I do dark magic. I do not do dark magic, and I do light magic. And I will do things that cause shift, which really what the left-hand path means to me. So I don't know if that helped.
Thank you, Patti. Excuse me. Freaky Geek is asking, sorry, what's dextral?
Dextro.
What?
Dextral.
Dextro? Or next for me? No.
I'm not sure what he means. Is he saying what's dextral?
Dextra? Dextro? I don't know.
D
I don't
E
know.
Dextral.
Dextro. I don't know what that means either. I don't know everything. I don't know a lot, but I don't know what that means. So if you explain what that means, I could tell you what I mean. Dextro. I have no idea what that means.
He's asking if you do. Excuse me over my throat. Can you read that?
If you do magic at night, is that still light magic?
Yeah, of course. Of course it is. And night and day, I do a lot under the moon. Again, light and dark, white and black, I don't use that. To me, the difference of good magic and not good magic. Like, okay, so if somebody wants a love spell, that's an easy one. If somebody wants a love spell, that's good magic. I want to love, bring me the love of my life. Somebody's got curly hair and they're funny or they're this or they're romantic. Great, we could do that. That's positive magic. That's light magic. If somebody says, I want a love spell on Henry over there, that's, to me, dark magic, unless you have Henry's permission. And you don't have Henry's permission. If you had Henry's permission, you don't need that anyway. Because even though you're going, oh, but I know Henry is my soulmate. I know if he just got to know me, he would love me. I know the angels told me, God told me, my spirit told me, he said, we're perfect for each other. And it sounds like it's so good. But without Henry's permission, that just turns it dark. You don't control someone else. You control your world, and you open your doors, you make things open. But as soon as you start controlling someone else, to me, that's the consequence. Because now you live in a world, for one, that you can be controlled. So I don't want to live in a world where somebody else can control me, so I'm not going to control somebody else. Again, whether you go into old Wiccan read, what you put out comes back to you 3 times, or cause and effect, karma, whatever word you want to use for it. That to me, so at night means nothing. I love nighttime, around the bonfire, around everything, drawing down the moon. Because I do a lot by moon cycles. You know, at full moon, you could do every kind of magic. New moon, you do inner working. Anything on the waxing moon, that's your adding in kind of magic. More money, more love, more sex. The waning moon, you're letting go of things. You know, go on a diet, quit smoking, change don't worry so much. Again, so I work like that, but it has night and day now. And the dressings of it means I could sit here burning a black candle in the dark of night, dressed in a cloak, doing white magic. A black candle is going to take out negativity. So it's not all like Hollywood.
Just get back to that quick. He said, I might have heard wrong, but did you say dextral angels? Destral. Destral. Angels.
Destral angel. Dextral. Oh, I said dextral. Okay, there's synstral and dextral. Good question. Dextral is what angels are. Again, somebody would say, what? Right hand. The dextral, you can't cause shift. You don't cause shift or change. Again, it's a synstral path. That's actually, or the synstral, not path, the synstral is where the word sin came from, but sin doesn't have to mean like the Judeo-Christian meaning of it. Sin means something bad. It means shift or change. So that was synstral. Synstral means you cause a shift or change. And dextral means you don't.
Thank you. I've got another one here from Emmanuel Ray Rivera.
Hi, Manny.
That's a great question. Define black magic, because I love to study and understand and feel it and practice it, but I don't want to use it against it.
So what does he mean by black magic? That's a good question. I don't use those terms. That's why I don't use those terms. Because the connotation of it, that's like saying soulmate. Black magic, what most people think means doing dark and whatever things. I will do sinstral magic, which causes shift and change, so long as you do it in integrity and don't do something else. What do you mean, Manny, by wanting to do black magic? If you said you don't want to do harmy things, then you're not, that, to me, it's not even black magic. It's just, that's where people go, the gray path, versus a black path or a white path. Gray witch.
He says,
so I don't know what he means. What do you want, Manny? What do you mean you want to practice black magic? What do you want to do? Forget the titles.
He says, maybe I should do a reading with you, Patti.
Sure, call me. Did you read my book, Manny? That explains lots. You can get on Amazon. Oops, wait, I just dropped my microphone. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, you should book a reading with me. But if you haven't, Manny, I know you're into magical things and stuff. This is a super simple, super guideline of, and there's love, there's money, there's sex, there's everything a little bit in here in super simplified. I wanted it to be an easy book because when I started like 30 years ago, I'd buy these big fancy books and they're all wordy and I'd leave them on the shelf. And then I'd buy some simple book like from my Scott Cunningham on magic and I would devour it. So after I wrote mine, I literally spent more time unwriting it to get rid of half the words to make it so simple, so clear. So if anybody wants to know about this will give you a really good guideline. And I could tell you some other books. My friend Alex Kazemi in Canada came up with a nice called Pop Magic. Again, not black magic, not white magic, pop magic. And he's into simplicity in spells. I'm into simplicity in spells, things that, you don't have to, find Eye of Newt anywhere. You could use the cinnamon from your cupboard and whatever. So anyway, tell me, book me, Manny. That would be fun.
So do you get a lot of people, mailing you or calling you, asking you for all individual spells, etc.?
Yeah, and the way I do spell work, again, it has to be within a session. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say do it yourself. I'll go say watch my YouTube channel if you want a money spell. Do my YouTube on yourself. But if somebody wants me to do something with them, it's booked within a session, and we'll do that within a session because I'm not a believer. Because so many of those scam artists that do it for you, they don't even do it for you. And it's like we're going to do it together, whether we're on the phone or a video. You want bring that love into your life or that money or that health. I need your passion. I will show you the right things to do. I'll bring the right herbs and the oils and the chants and the saying and that connection to spirit. But if you're there, it's going to be 10 times as good because your desire is what's going to fuel that spell. So people who call me, again, I make it very clear. Nope. Can you get me my ex-husband back? Nope. I can teach you how to communicate. I can learn how to change the chords, put love chords. But I'm not going to do anything to control your ex-husband. Give me this, give me that. And I just make it very clear. And then if somebody does want to put me for something to change their life, to get whatever, we book a session and the magic spell will within it. No extra charge or anything. So we'll spend an hour session, the first half hour, maybe even 40 minutes looking at why this situation, because there's always reason. Oh, you have a block here. It happened when you were 12 and this and that. And this is why you always pick the wrong lover and that. So now let's do a spell working. We'll do a candle. We'll do a witch's ladder. We'll do a burning. We'll do whatever. And then we'll do it together.
Have you, obviously with what's going on just now, shopping and that's a bit, hard to do. When you've been out shopping, maybe you and your husband, you're out for a day, have you ever had people just come up to you randomly and say, look, I fell out with my boyfriend. What can I do to him? Stuff like that.
Not really. People, again, I live in Hollywood, and Hollywood kind of knows better than doing that. You could be like Brad Pitt in a nice restaurant, not walking down the street or something. But You just don't. I'm up where I work out every day is Lake Hollywood, and half the people there are celebrities. You nod, you say hi. So again, people in Hollywood or Los Angeles know you don't do that. And when somebody does do that, like not too long, I guess just before lockdown, I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard going dancing at a club, a private club I belong to, and these beautiful girls, oh, the gorgeous girls walking down the street speaking. I think it was Italian, and this like 4 or 5. All of a sudden, I hear Patti, 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 Patti. And I guess they recognize me. Probably it's like surround, surround, surround. Take pictures. That's all fine. That's fun. I don't get very much of that, but that's all fun. I get more people asking, help me with this, help me with that, from social media. People messaging me. I understand why celebrities much bigger than you can't start answering messages because it could take 24 hours a day. It could take 24 hours a day. It's like, no, this is what I do for a living. You have to, book a session or do something or just read my book or do something. I would be 24 hours a day. People, and you get tragedies and you get this, and it's hard, but not so much walking down the street.
You'll be happy with that, but I mean, I would imagine you'd be stopped every 5 meters or something. Can you do that? Can you do that? I would drive you insane. Emmanuel Armani, as you. I'll try and read this as slow as possible for you. It's quite a big paragraph.
Okay.
It says, "Okay, I'm called to be a shaman and Reiki healer, and I know I'm a magician. And I need to understand the spiritual realm and walk between it. And I do understand I need to light and dark to do this type of work. I'm working on shadow work and I'm trying to learn these things."
Good. Learn. And 2 ways to learn. Go inside with your meditations and talking to spirit. And what cosmology are you going to work it in? To me, that belief system, are you going to be take a shaman elemental path? Are you going to take a pagan path? Are you going to take a Judeo-Christian path? Are you going to take a New Age path? That's why you study, read. I am in school. I teach school like twice a week, and I'm in school all the time. I will study I'll study Buddhism, study pagan, study traditional British witchcraft. I will study chaos witchcraft. I will study New Age crystal. I will study this. And you have to start putting it in your pot so you understand you're either going to pick one of those paths or even better yet, create your own path drawing from what you have to find your truth. So that's why you have to be knowledgeable. Read everything you can. I like classroom settings. So I study. Like even, 30 years, I'm in school all the time. It's like, okay, what do I not know? I don't know a lot of Peruvian shamanism. And I like how their elemental work, they work with jaguar medicine. I need to know I can incorporate that, how they work with a mesa rag and fold it up. So I took, Peruvian shamanism with a Peruvian shaman for like 6 months, once a week. I understand it. I'm going to incorporate these parts of it work for me. These don't. And it's like your big soup pot. So I love that you're doing that, person, and you want to be a shaman. You're drawn. So now you use the gifts that you have and were given, what you're in your blood, and it's how you dress it though, because natural born psychics, intuitives, healers are great, but they're raw. If you have that natural born and you're educated in mystical arts, although you just have everything to draw on, because it's a big responsibility to take, to be whatever you want to call it, a shaman, a Reiki master, a healer, a psychic medium, and it's a huge responsibility. People come to you when they're vulnerable. People come to you at their weakest. So you got to be well armed. And once you really get there, again, maybe don't take a specific path. You create what that path is, because to me, it's like a template. Not one is not more better than the other, but it's your roadmap. How do you want it? What word do you want to use? It's like to get from Los Angeles to Scotland. There's lots of ways to do it. Who's to say one's better? You could walk, you could swim, you could take a plane, you could take a boat. There's fast ways, short. You could astral travel. Who's to say one is better? So it's the more that you can learn. I'm all about learning. Mm-hmm. And then you'll say, "Oh my gosh, spirit's leading me here. Spirit's leading me here." So I'm a elemental shaman, and I'm an angel person. Oh, I like the angels. Oh, but now I'm getting into this kind of magic. Now I'm getting into deity magic. The more I learn, the more I know I don't know, and it's great. I love the unknown.
That's partly the fun, finding out stuff. Just I know you're limited for time. You got your other commitments, Pat. So I've got one more question for you, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Amy. I hope I've said that right, Amy. I'm always told that I have a gift, and I know I can feel things like atmospheres, and I sometimes get information spiritually, but I can't seem to connect. Do you have any advice to open up more physically?
Psychically.
Yeah.
Psychically?
Yeah. You have to learn. I'm very right brain, left brain. Our left brain, our logical brain, our reasoning brain, the brain we use every day, our organized brain, that has nothing to do with your psychic ability. Your right brain, which is your creative, your intuitive, your spiritual, your artist side, it is. You have to learn to shut this one down. You have to step out in the craft. We have laid down our best on our broom. This side of the realm is the regular world. This side is where anything can happen. If you start overthinking, you're going to shut it down. So again, if you want to do it, this has some exercises and things in it. I'll believe me, I'll make 50 cents off you. It's not, I'm trying to pay my, but yeah, you have to develop it there's breathing things and meditation things, but more than anything, it's about faith. And if as soon as you try to analyze it, I could be, 12 people around a seance table or 600 people at a college auditorium. If I'm getting, spirit says there's a giraffe in the room, my left brain might want to go, oh my God, there's not a giraffe in the room. Can't say that. I just shut it down. You just have to have faith. There is a giraffe in the room. And then the person in the back row will go, yeah, I just put my giraffe to sleep. It's faith and being able to dance between you. You have to dance between logic and intuition. They shut each other down. You have to dance between.
Thank you,
and on that note, I got to get ready to go. So
wind it up there. I'll just keep 2 wee seconds after we go off, if that's all right. Just
yes, please. So you guys like me, follow me, all the social medias, because Scott's real sucky at tagging me. Facebook, Patti Negri Psychic Medium, Patti.Negri on Instagram, at Patti Negri Twitter, but PattiNegri.com you can get everywhere. I have a little free newsletter you can sign up for with stuff. And yeah, life is fun, you guys. We are powerful beings.
I have tagged your website in the description of this video, so
thank you.
Because I'm hopeless.
Thank you, you guys. You guys are so cute. So thank you guys for listening. Happy holidays, happy Yule, happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy
times. Happy times.
Thanks
for coming in, folks. We're back on Sunday with Haunted Tastings. Thank you so much. Again, Patti. It's always fantastic. You truly are a very, very bright light. Very, very bright.
Thank you. I thank you. My dragon thanks you. Whee! All right. Bye, you guys.